Hi, folks. This is Dan Dow, a longtime photographic friend of mine. You and I have walked a similar path. I think we both started out in the traditional photography.
That's true. That's true.
And I know that you came a little later to digital than the rest of us. Can you tell me about your process of how you decided to do it?
Well, I came into it kicking and screaming. I suspect, like I do most things, but I had kind of other parts of my life caught up with me, and I was a lot more involved in other things and less involved in photography, which I still have doubts about, but nonetheless, that's the way that it was. And I started reading about digital, and I thought, this is very interesting, very expensive, but then the prices, of course, kept coming down on the equipment and all, and I was enthralled by the instantaneousness of it, in that it wasn't a matter of going out and shooting 4 sheets of film in a morning and then waiting until you get back to process it. And even though I was pretty comfortable with my process at the time, there was always the mistakes that you possibly make, as you well know. Mm-hmm. And the idea of being able to gauge exposure and all of the rest that goes with digital made it very interesting. And I was, quite frankly, I was amazed at how much I could do as quickly as I did. But I will also say that the process, the learning, the hill that you have to climb is rather steep in order to start making the work that that you're really comfortable with. But,
what motivates you to take a shot? What turns you on?
Well, I don't know that I could actually articulate it much, except that I get a sensation. I get a feeling that there's something here, and in this format, the digital allows you to do a little more experimenting than you did before. Well, certainly I did, in that I can say, yeah, this is pretty interesting. I think I've got something, and then you work it that way. And then there are other times when it just knocks your socks off. Mm-hmm. You come onto a scene. This was a pretty good example of that. And that the morning is just perfect. Your head's in the right place. The sun is just coming up in the shot, and it all goes together. And you just say, yeah, time is right. Set your tripod up, and
You do a lot of traveling.
I do a fair amount. Right. Yeah.
Do you travel to take pictures, or take pictures to travel?
Well, that depends upon who you talk to. To me, photography is an exploration. Okay, I really do like to know what's around the corner, and so therefore, when I go someplace, I certainly do bring a camera. And there are other times when photography is the reason. And the national parks, especially the ones to the far west. The Colorado Plateau, southern Utah, that part of the world, I find extraordinarily interesting.
If you could pick any photographer to shoot with for an afternoon, who would you pick and why?
Wow. The problem is, it isn't a problem, it's a wonderful thing, that from the beginning of photography forward, there have been so many wonderful shooters. I've always had a partiality toward Paul Strand. Mm-hmm. Just because he wasn't afraid to try. And he seemed to be saying, why not, on some of the pictures that he took. And he was the first, to my opinion, he was the first one to come along and say, I'm going to shoot that and I'll make something of it. In other words, he made the mundane very, in some cases, strikingly beautiful. So, but he'd be one. Harry Callahan seems to me one of those guys who woke up every morning and said, I've got to photograph before I go to bed. and his entire life he photographed a variety of things, and he always added that other dimension, that thing that we're always looking for in photography. Mm-hmm. He always added that something special to it. Mm-hmm. So, and then of course you got the contemporary photographers. There are so many that are photographing landscape.
Where do you think your photography is going to go?
Oh, well, it isn't under my bed anymore.
Right. No, I mean, what are you planning on doing next?
Next?
What are you anticipating?
Oh, I have a lot of ongoing projects that I shoot. Where they will go, how many will be done in this lifetime, I don't know, but I think I have enough creative ideas to keep me going for quite some time.
Okay.